Good evening, everyone. This is your humble servant here tonight on our live broadcast. We are here briefly going to be talking about some issues concerning to our live broadcast on social policy by the special grace of God. And let me invite my guest tonight. Let me invite Dr. Gray tonight. Hallelujah.
Come on in, it's time to rise. The glory of the Lord is in the skies. We're lifting truth, we're walking light. With kingdom power, we fight the fight. Join Bishop Wilfred D. Will and Deborah. Let's go! It's time for kingdom conversations. Let the word and spirit flow.
This is your hour of fire, truth, and transformation. Welcome to the broadcast.
Beat poppin', bass grooving on this well. Beat poppin', bass grooving on it.
This is your hour of fire, truth, and transformation. Welcome to the broadcast.
Beat poppin', bass grooving on this well. Oh, yeah, it's time to rise. The glory of the Lord is in the skies. We're lifting truth, we're walking light. With kingdom power, we fight the fight. Hey! Join Bishop Wilfred, and Deborah Tight. Let's go! It's time for kingdom conversations. Let the word and spirit flow.
This is your hour of fire, truth, and transformation. Welcome to the broadcast.
Well, praise the Lord tonight. We want to welcome each and every one of us to our live broadcast. God bless you and join us on the LUNDI radio station tonight. God bless you. Have a wonderful time.
The glory of the Lord is in the skies. We're lifting truth, we're walking light. With kingdom power, we fight the fight. Join Bishop Bishop Wilfred D. Will, and Deborah. Let's go. It's time for Kingdom Conversations. Let the word and spirit flow. Oh,
This is your hour of fire, truth, and transformation. Welcome to the broadcast.
beat poppin', bass grooving on this well. Beat poppin', bass grooving on it.
This is your hour of fire, truth, and transformation. Welcome to the broadcast.
Beat poppin', bass grooving on this well. Oh, then it's time to rise. The glory of the Lord is in the skies. We're living truth, we're walking light. With kingdom power, we fight the fight. Hey, join Bishop Wilfred, and Deborah tight. Let's go. It's time for Kingdom Conversations. Let the word and spirit flow. Oh,
This is your hour of fire, truth, and transformation. Welcome to the broadcast.
beat poppin', bass grooving on this well. Come on in. It's time to rise.
How you doing, Bishop?
The glory of the Lord is in the skies. We're lifting truth. We're walking light. With kingdom power, we fight the fight. Join Bishop Wilfred D. Will, and Deborah Tight. Let's go. It's time for Kingdom Conversations. Let the
We just want to welcome you tonight to our live broadcast, and we are so grateful to God to have you in studio with us, and we are grateful, just being grateful to have you here, Dr. Michael Gray. So what we want you to do here for us tonight, this is the Global Prayer Network TV, what we call the platform of salvation and also a kingdom conversation. But tonight here we are going deep in public policy and with our emphasis on social policy. So, but first of all, before we can go any further, we want you to tell our audience who you are, how we got here, and what are some of your achievements, your writings as an author, and your book launch, your book signing that your sister, Dr. Julian Williams, did attend, and then you were there. She was there for the book signing. So we want you to just tell us a little bit about yourself. Then we can go into our topic tonight from public policy to social policy. So can you tell us about yourself and the audience listening? God bless you. You are welcome again.
Thank you very much, Bishop Williams. It is indeed a pleasure being on your show.
I'm not hearing you. Are you on
Michael
mute?
K. Gray.
And transformation. Welcome
Let me see. Let me see. No, I'm not on mute. I don't know why.
I got you. Yeah, I'm
I'm not on
listening. I'm
mute.
hearing you.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, I think the music was on before. First of all, I want to say a big thank you, Bishop Williams, for allowing me to be on your platform to address your audience. My name is Michael K. Gray. I am a native of Liberia and a longtime resident of Newark. I've been in the political arena for a while. I had the opportunity of working for two members of Congress. The first Black congressman in the state of New Jersey, Donald Pink Sr., and also the second Black congressman in the state of New Jersey, Donald Pink Jr. And I've been thankful to God that all the time I've had like leadership position in those specific roles, starting from local government to the federal government. And my last assignment was at the U.S. House of Senate, where I serve as a senior advisor to United States Senator George Helmy. So basically, that is something about me, unless you want me to be a little bit more specific.
Yeah, that alone just give us a lot in telling us who you are. So for tonight, you are welcome again. You know me, I'm Bishop Wilfred Williams, and
Mhm.
presiding bishop over Divine Grace Ministries, or
Right.
Global Prayer Network, Born to Praise, and the Wishing War Prayer Summit. And I've been doing this since 2017. And I am so grateful to have you here this evening on this live broadcast. And I want to be very grateful to God. So tonight we're going to go straight to the point as we talk about uh, public policy and social policy, and we're looking at from public policy to social policy, how government decisions shape our everyday lives. So, Dr. Gray, we want to now, we're not limiting this conversation tonight to any specific group of people or specific group of government. So what we want to consider here tonight, we just want you to make us to understand, because once it come to policy, who are benefiting from decision government are making, or whoever, whatever entity, when it comes to policy. So we just want you to give us some insight tonight, and so that we can understand, to let our audience to know who decide what problems government should address. So our question here tonight, we want you to tell us who decide for the government what problem the government should address.
Yeah, I think you broke up in your last sentences, but I do understand the question. Before I start with public policy, uh, public policy is a governance or governing instrument. But before I start with public policy or policy, I want to start from law first, because law is the basis of policy. And when I say law, I want for us to start first from the highest level of government. The highest level of government is the federal government, and then followed by the state government. And it is the state charter that creates the local government. Local government meaning the county, the municipality, or you would call the cities, and also the board of education. So then when we look at like public policy is created by the public institution. And public policy comes out of law, because a law has to be the basis of policy. If you create policy that is not in accordance with the law, then that is not real policy. And so policy should actually benefit people, because when you look at the U.S. Constitution specifically, it talks about the protection of people in terms of race, in terms of nationality, in terms of gender, in terms of sex, etc. So public policy should actually, like you were talking about, like social policy, public policy should actually enhance the quality of life of people. But many times policy are created in a way that it doesn't. And it is incumbent upon the people to follow certain things, and which of course I'm going to elaborate on. And one of the things that the public will follow is in terms of using their First Amendment right, and that is speaking out, uh, petitioning their government to be able to advocate for just on public policy. So when I say public policy, is something that is ran within the governmental sector. But besides public policy, you also have like private policy. Private policy is something that's instituted in private corporation, but the basis of policy in general is law. And you cannot create policy without law. It has to be governed by law. So to answer your question, law should benefit everyone. And so if policy is not, if policy is not benefiting everyone, then it needs to be challenged. And there are ways that it can be challenged.
I
If
gotta.
you elaborate, yeah, yeah. So do you want me to elaborate on that a little bit, or you have another question? Because I don't want to just keep going. I just
Yeah,
want to
go
make
ahead,
sure
Dr.
that I
Gray. I want you
understand.
to elaborate on that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it could be challenged. It could be challenged in terms of the court system.
Yeah,
That
I want you to elaborate on that for
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Well, one of the way that a policy or on a just policy could be challenged is through the court system. And one of the way that it could also be challenged to is from the federal system. Sometimes you might have someone from the state government or local government instituting policy that is not in accordance with the Constitution, and then the federal government steps in to ensure that that policy is just. Or sometimes you have like a local government that try to institute policy that is not in accordance with the state statute, and then the state can like actually question that particular municipality in terms of rectifying those particular policies. And you have different instruments too besides elected officials. You have like pressure group, like for example, like civil liberties organization that actually advocate for people rights, or you have labor unions that actually advocate for people in terms of like fair wages. So there are lots of advocacy group besides governmental institution that actually advocate for just policies.
Hmm. Okay, Dr. Gray.
Yes,
So
sir.
okay, so when we come back to the policy issue, so in short, so who decides what problem government should address from all what you have said, or who decide that in the society, in the community, who decide what kind of problem the government should address? Like when in a democratic system, when we talk about policy priorities emerge from a combination of elected officials, government agencies, legislators, courts, experts, advocates, advocacy organizations, and businesses, community organization, voters, and the public. So who really decide the kind of problem the government should address within this organization, and are these all of these form part of the policy making issue? So it is the court, it is the organization, it is the politician, or I just want you to elaborate on that a little bit more. Who made this decision, and what kind of policy or what kind of issue,
Okay.
what kind of
So
problem government?
yeah. So Bishop, you were breaking up a little bit, but I think I got the question. So like when we're looking at government, like I talk about different level of government in terms
Mhm,
of, first of all, federal government. Federal government are responsible for certain things,
mhm,
creating certain laws, right? Or creating certain regulatory rules. For example, when you come to the military, it falls
mhm,
within the federal system. When you come to Homeland Security, it falls within the federal system. When you come to education, it falls within the for the federal system. Immigration, all those stuff fall within the federal system. Veteran affairs fall within the federal system. So sometimes it all depends on the category of the kind of policy that you're talking about. Is it educational policy? Is it military policy? Then of course, then when it comes to like the state in the Constitution gave the state also some power, right? But one of the power that the Constitution did not give the state is, for example, like immigration power. State cannot oversee issue when it comes to immigration. State cannot even really regulate when it comes to stuff to education. As you know, President Donald Trump has been trying to make education like a state issue, but that's actually like a federal issue. So, I mean, maybe if you could elaborate a little bit to say what are we talking about? Are we talking about federal issues, state issues? Like, so for example, the issue of motor vehicle. The issue of motor vehicle falls directly under the state, like the issuing of licenses and all that. It falls is fall within the state jurisdiction. Um, the issue of unemployment, although there can be some federal unemployment issues, but
Hmm.
unemployment basically fall within the state like domain or state like jurisdiction. So unless you just want to give a generalized thing, but for your audience, I know that you really want to help your audience in understanding certain issues
That
pertaining to
deal
law.
with the immigration issues.
Okay, okay. So let's say for example, when it comes to the immigration issue, who should really benefit?
Hmm.
So the first group of people that should benefit will be people that have citizenship. Citizenship, in a sense, there are people that have like birthright citizenship, meaning people that were born here, or people that have like naturalized citizenship, people that were naturalized here. And the second group of people are people that have the green cards, or like a permanent resident status. And there are other statuses too in the country that people can benefit from. Like for example, someone could be benefiting from political asylum, someone could be benefiting from like a refugee status, or someone could be can be benefiting from like temporary protected status. But within all those category, there are some degree of limitations. So if you ask me who should benefit from those laws, I would say firstly it would be people that are citizen. But then if someone have a credible case and they came from another country and they're seeking political asylum, yeah, they should be able to benefit too because it like they have credible cause of being in the United States. Because according to the immigration law, people that will be persecuted in our country can really return. So it is incumbent upon the government of the United States to be able to accept those people where they have credible claims. And even in the issue of like refugee status, there are certain categories when it comes to refugee status that fall within the immigration rules. So like if you are qualified for that, maybe if there's a farming in your country, like the thing that happened in Ethiopia, then you should be able to benefit from that particular law or particular policy. So if you were to ask me who should benefit from those law and policy, uh, those people that actually um, that have the right to benefit from those particular law and policy, and the court can come in because sometimes there can be like a blurry line. Like for example, in the situation of like Haiti, Haiti had something called the TPS, temporary protected status, and it is the executive branch, right, that issued that particular status. So when you look at immigration, there are lots of category of immigration. One of the one of the category of immigration is called family-based petition. So let's say, for
Okay.
example, husband can file for wife, wife can file for husband, uh, children can file for or parent can file for children, and then there's another category too where brothers can file for sisters and sisters can file for brother, but it's a completely different category, right? So it's like so this particular policy now. This is what you would call policy because it's some administrative law. It was something that was done by the Homeland Security, granting TPS to Haiti because of the hurricane that occurred in 2010. But then President Trump decided that look, there's no more hurricane occurring, and these people have overstayed and they have to go. And so then there was someone in I think it was one of the lower courts, because when you look at the federal system, there are three different courts. You
Hmm.
have the lower courts, federal courts. You have the Court of Appeal, which is the circuit court, and then you have the Supreme Court, which is the highest court. So someone from the lower court challenged President Trump's decision in terms of changing that particular policy because like Haiti was not stabilized. So it had to go within the court system. So it went to the court system and it went to the Court of Appeal or the Circuit Court. And then, of course, it went to the last court, which is the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court stated that President Trump had the right to institute that particular. I mean, to like abolish that particular policy. So that policy was stopped. So if you were to ask me who is to benefit from setting law and policy, it is the people that actually fall within those categories. You know, So political asylum people, yes, you should get political asylum if the kid is credible. A refugee, yeah, if there's is a farm in your country or like a wall and you escape a wall, yeah, you should be able to get refugee status. Um, if you file for your mother, you should be able to bring your mother here because it fall within the family based petition.
Mm.
If you are pastor, there's something to call a clergy or like a faith-based kind of petition that you can follow, but that is a completely different category. For was in the employment base, but that is some technicality. So I think I basically explained that to you in terms of immigration. If you fall within one of those category where benefit is entitled to you, then you should get those benefit. And if you don't get this benefit, is when you go to the legal system to be able to address this issue. And that's why you need to have a lawyer, and the lawyer can go into immigration courts and to be able to mitigate those issues for you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gray. Let us throw a little bit more light on the father of the Haiti issue. The
Mhm,
temporary status was revoked, and
mhm,
all of these things we see that going on in Haiti,
mhm,
and the
mhm,
current government revoke the status.
mhm.
So I don't know. So are you telling us that the government going to have all of these folks status that have been revoked going to be deported because there is no more crisis in their country?
Okay. Thank you for the question. So when it comes to executive orders, right? Because executive order is a form of policy too. So let's, for example, like TPS,
Mm,
temporary protected status, is an executive order. Like DED, defer enforced departure, um, um, is another executive order. So when it comes to like executive order like that, you don't need votes. You only need executive action, administrative action. So that action falls within the Department of Homeland Security. So the Director of Homeland Security can decide to extend or to like abolish. So then when it comes to legislative power, is when there's voting occur. So and so then so it's a separate issue in terms of voting. So for something to be voted upon, there has to be something called a bill. A bill is like a proposer.
mm,
It has to come from one of the houses. There are two houses in the federal system. You have the House of Representatives and you have the House of Senate. So it's like maybe like the bill can be originated from the House of Representatives, and then so someone from the House of Senate have to sponsor the bill. So they have to have the companion bill, and that bill actually have to go to like different stages. So it go to like a subcommittee or full committee, and then it is a full committee that actually do the votes. So there are 535 members of Congress. So it's like so it's divided among Republican and Democrat. So if so the majority actually rules. So if the Democrat have more votes, it means that they are in charge of that particular house.
mm,
And 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 when and when that particular um, um, party is in charge, they they becomes like the chairman and they control their gender. And so that is why election is very much important. So if you have more Democratic vote or more Republican vote, and then you have those people having control over their agenda. So the party that have the chairmanship controls the agenda because they are the one that create the speaker. They create the speaker is the one that actually put something put a bill on the floor to be voted on. So and if that if that bill passes in both houses, and then it have to go to the president, and the president have to sign it into law, or the president can veto it. When the president veto it, you have to go back to Congress, and then it takes a specific amount of vote to override the president veto. So to make a long story short, when it comes to executive action, you don't need legislative power. Legislative power deal with voting, but when you deal with executive action, you don't need voting. All you just need is that agency to enact or not to enact. But guess what? It could be challenged in the court system too. So if like if the executive power, if the executive force decide to institute setting policy, which is an executive order that is not in accordance with the law, then it can be challenged within the court system. Like the court system I talk about, either the lower courts, and then if there's some dispute still, it goes to the circuit court or the court of appeal, and then it goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's decision is the final decision. Just like any issue of Haiti, the Supreme Court decided that the executive had the right to revoke TPS. So then it becomes the law.
It becomes the law. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Gray. Okay, let us come to the issue of the Constitution of the United States.
Yes,
I want
sir.
us to go back. I want us to go back to the original intent of the Constitution.
Yes.
That we
Yes.
know there were 55 formers of the Constitution, 55 founders, and I think one of the governors that they call the Virginia Plan,
Okay.
who wrote the plan in the separation of the federal government, how states and federal government should carry on issue, and that was acceptable, except for 33 of them did not sign that constitution during those days in Philadelphia. So, but I want us to go back to the original intent of the Constitution. When I'm speaking of the original intent of the Constitution is for the people, by the people, that the Constitution should be respected, or everybody under or in the United States have some right when it comes to the Constitution. But now, as we look at the current government, there are so many things that we are doing. We call them like I looking at the standpoint where we look at Democrat to be a responsible government. Democrat, I see that Democrat always want to go according to the Constitution. So we refer to Democrat as a responsible government. But on the other hand, the irresponsible government always want to go behind the Constitution, don't want to go according to the Constitution. For one example, let's look at what we call due process. So that must be done to everybody who been arrested. They should have the privilege to have what we call due process. Let us look at the government. And so how can we go back? How can this current government go back to the original intent of the Constitution? What those farmers, the farmers of the Constitution, intended the Constitution for the nation. How can this current administration, or how can any administration go back to the original intent of the Constitution, that everybody, because what I see here is that if the government don't go back to the original intent of the Constitution, families suffer a lot. People who not supposed to carry burden because of what we are going through, they suffer a lot. So how can the government go back to the Constitution that everybody will have their their law-given rights within the United States or any given country? How can they go back to that original intent and going behind the Constitution? Can you elaborate more
Okay.
on that? Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you, Bishop. Bishop, I don't want to go too deep, so I'll just touch upon the surface area.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
go on the
because
surface.
yeah,
Yeah. I will bring you
yeah. I
back
was going to
another
surface.
time.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. I want to go on the surface because
Yeah.
sometimes I have the tendency of going deeper, and maybe it might not be necessary for this
Mhm.
particular forum. But one thing I say to you is like they say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right?
Mhm.
Um, when you look at the whole process of law and policy, yes, the Constitution talk about due process, that all men are created equal, right? And but I want you to know that when it comes to the implementation of the law, sometimes the executive branch, if they did not check, they will do whatever within their means to achieve whatever goal necessary. So that is where the check and balances comes in. The check and balances come in a sense that we as people, right, have to really really speak out. We as people have to really vote to create that balance. We have to like advocate for people that stand for our goals, for our dreams, for our aspiration, for our level of like belief system. I think many times people sit down and allow election to occur without like participating in the process. So this is simple. If you don't participate in the process, then the people that control the process will do whatever and they want to do unless they are challenged within the court system. So I think when you're talking about going back to the original and thing, I think the Constitution is still the same, but maybe the implementation might be a little bit different. So it is left with us now to be able to challenge our lawmakers, to be able to call them, to be able to like complain, to be able to express our grievances through like protests, peaceful protests, or like vote them out of office, so that we can bring in people that will actually advocate for us, people that will respect the Constitution and not just interpret it their own way to just please their own intentions. So I think that is a surface level I will go instead of going deeper into that solution.
Okay. Okay. Let me take you outside of the great United States, right? Uh,
Mhm.
can we go to Burkina Faso? Let's see what is going on in Burkina Faso in terms of policy and who are benefiting from the policy.
Sure,
Uh, yeah. So we see Burkina
sure.
Faso, even though the government that is in Burkina Faso was never elected by the people, there was some coup d'etat and stuff that went on in Burkina Faso, and the current president ousted the former president. So let us consider all of these things and looking at data and reports from World Bank, from Al Reid, and all of these factors, and UN, United Nations, all coming in to give all of these reports. So I want you to read it, maybe go a little bit deeper in what really is happening in Burkina Faso, who are benefiting from the current policy that the current president is or instituting within the country, who are really benefiting. It is necessary for what is going on, or I mean, in terms of policy being made and who are benefiting and who not benefiting from it.
Okay, good. A very very good question. So when we look at Burkina Faso, I want to look at the issue when Africa was divided
Mhm,
um, during the Berlin Conference, and when you look at the political structure and economic structure of Francophone countries, it was mainly governed. It is mainly still governed uh, by like France. France determine in terms of the monetary policy when it comes to the CFA, and also when it comes to sometimes like the physical like policy of those particular country. Like when you look at the current president of Burkina Faso, to
mhm,
him he look at this and issue as more of a sovereignty issue. He is stating that the natural resources of his country should be utilized by his people and not necessarily exported to other countries based on colonial contracts or colonial rules. Um, he he feels that when you look at inflation, I mean, there's been like inflationary rates like increase over the years, and some of those colonial contracts uh, depict that things are done like the way it was done like hundreds of years ago, and not thinking about the cost of living, and also looking at like the extractive resources or true value. So according to uh, the president of Burkina Faso, he believed firmly that France is exploiting their resources in a way that is not uh, coherent or not in the interest of the people of Burkina Faso. And he was advocating in a way that there should be like a renegotiation. And in that process, Burkina Faso actually kicked France basically out, and now you have Niger, you have Mali, and Burkina Faso creating a region called the Sahel state, where they are trying to share resources in terms of political and economic resources to create their own economic bloc for prosperity. So I think the issue between France and Burkina Faso is an issue of sovereignty. It's an issue of a country trying to protect their natural resources, and our country trying to renegotiate an old deal that is not really in their interest. So if you ask the question, who is benefiting? According to the president, um, Traore, his goal is for the people of Burkina Faso to benefit. That he find a market that can actually pay the true value, and that the old contract be abolished. So according to him, all those policies is supposed to benefit the people of Burkina Faso and not necessarily only the people of France. So I think that is an issue. So if you ask me who's benefiting, I would say it should be the people of Burkina Faso, because I think that is what the president of Burkina Faso has been advocating for, and that's what he's saying. So I would take his word for it.
Okay, but let me read some issue from a security standpoint, right? We say, has the
Mhm.
government made people safer since then, or tried to tried to use his resources within the confines of the country that the people going to benefit from it? Well, we are looking at the security system of the country. So we say this is probably the most important test for Traore government. Okay, because the security crisis was one of the central reasons for the political upheaval that brought him to power. So this is what we're looking at. So we say Traore has placed numerous emphasis on strengthening the military, expanding the volunteer for the defense of homeland, the purchasing greater national control over security policy. This from BT 2026. So his supporters view this as an effort to reclaim national sovereignty and the territory. So let's look at, but the question is for social policy. The question here we're talking about is for social policy. Do ordinary people actually benefit? This is where we come. We'll talk about ordinary people actually benefit. So this is where the assessment becomes much more complicated. Ordinary people, do they really benefit? Then human rights also came in the system. Human rights came in and said that Human Rights Watch came in. They said that Human Rights Watch reported in 2026 that government forces and allied militants, or well as jihadist group, have been responsible for serious abuses and surveillance death. So now this is where we come to the ordinary people. So, Dr. Gray, can you really help us to understand? So, what are some of the things that Traore can really tackle? Because looking at him, how he came into power in 2022, how he came into power 2022, and so how can this identical guy militant who took over, how can he really tackle the security system within Burkina Faso? Because on numerous occasions we heard that Traore have been or they have been trying to assassinate Traore on numerous occasions, countless occasions. So now, since he came into power 2022 that way, how can Traore really protect and are really meant to, let's say, to take care of the ordinary people how can the security system, the
Okay.
militant,
Okay.
whoever,
So
yeah,
mhm. Okay. So you read an article and Bishop, I'm so sorry because sometimes you be breaking up, so I don't hear everything, but I still
yeah,
get what you're saying. First of all, I think it came up to your topic. The first thing is law, which of course is the Constitution, and then the second thing is public policy. We deal with like national security. So I think, to my understanding, um, if a country want to gain stability, one of the first thing they try to advocate for is national security. You can build infrastructure, you can build healthcare institutions, you can build educational institution, but if you don't have national security, then everything else is fragile. Um,
mm,
so I think that was his stand in terms of like further all creating like a national security infrastructure. But when you look at Burkina Faso, Burkina Faso alone is not strong enough to protect himself. Obviously,
mm,
you know who supports Burkina Faso is Russia. Is Russia
mm,
that's supporting Burkina Faso in terms of its military. That is why uh, President Traore is still being secure in power. You know, France is a very powerful country. He are being eliminated about now if it was not a
for,
bigger power that was supporting him. And some of the articles that I read about Burkina Faso is that now they're getting into the industrialization. They are trying to not only export their extractive resources, but they are trying to expand on their domestic economy in terms of building like factories and those kind of things. I think those are the things that help ordinary people, because to help ordinary people, you to create jobs. Because when people have jobs, then people will be able to buy food. They will be able to meet their basic needs and needs in terms of education, in terms of food, like I stated, shelter, clothing, um, and etc. So I think the first thing he was advocating for, from my understanding, from what you're saying, is like the military aspect is more of a national security issue. And then after the national security issue, and to build some coalition, like for example with Mali and Niger to create a Sahel in the region to be able to bring about some sustainable economic expansion. And of course, with the help of Russia, they are sustaining themselves so far. And now that they have some productive shield, and now they are focusing on creating some domestic project to be able to augment their existing economic structure. So I think eventually it might helping the people, because if you have jobs, it will help the people. If you build like domestic institution, it will help the people. If you try to minimize all the export of all your natural resources and try to refine some of your resources in your country, then it's like you make it more valuable. Just like when you look up things like diamonds. Diamond is like a rock, this rock that's kind of like now refined, and people take it to other countries in the world, like Europe and America, and it comes back, and it costs like millions of dollars. Even like cocoa from like Ivory Coast. When you look at cocoa, it's like the raw material in the coffee. I mean, they just export those stuff for little or nothing. But then when it's refined in those industrialized country, and when it comes back, it becomes like tenfolds. So I think he's looking at not only extracting and selling and extracting resources, but using those extracted resources to be able to build a domestic economy.
mm.
So I think it
So,
might be my understanding. I'm not a spokesman of Burkina Faso, but from the story you're telling me and some of the information that I've read about, I think that is the direction that he's trying to get in.
yeah, yeah, very much. That's the direction because the World Bank reported in this same year, 2026, from the economic standpoint, that was the policies producing result. the policy of the economic policy that he made. This the World Bank reported that already giving results. So let's see what happened in the what World Bank say. The World Bank estimates that Burkina Faso's economy grew about 5.3% in 2025, with growth supported by agriculture, one, improves security condition and mining. So it projects 6.1% growth in 2026, assuming continued security improvement and favorable conditions. This is a report from World Bank. So when we come to the policy of economics, I think that Burkina Faso Traore is doing well for his people, even as you like you said, the common people are benefiting because factory has been created for his people, and all of institution has been created for his people, and they are just flowing according to what is happening. So now let us look at what we call the GDP growth. So we say, does GDP growth automatically mean that ordinary people are better off the growth of GDP? Does it mean that ordinary people will just automatically grow when it comes to that within any given country, or we can still talk about Burkina Faso? The growth of GDP automatically means that ordinary people will just be better off?
No, no, not at all. Not necessarily. If you look at the gross national product of a country and the gross domestic product of a country, um, it don't necessarily trigger down to sustainable economic development and growth. Um, I'm saying this to say is like when you look at economics, even when you look at like the statistical part of economics, sometimes people look at setting variables, um, and those, and sometimes they look at things from a subject, and sometimes those variables are subjective kind of variables, and and people want to make it like quantifiable and things like that. Let's say, for example, a country can have a large um, GDP, um, or gross national product or domestic product or whatever it is. If there's corruption, then it's not going to trigger down. Um, if you have country not actually investing in education, then the next generation of leaders will not be informed to take the country forward. If you have a large GDP or G and sorry, gross national product and gross domestic product, and you
Yeah,
have like bad
domestic.
infrastructure that lasted for like 50 years and not being repaired, um, there are lots of things that is going to affect. Let's say, for example, if you have bad roads, it impedes transportation. If you don't have an electrical grid system, it affects energy, and energy plays a major role in terms of even corporation coming into your country. It impede the whole issue of electricity. And even when you look at electricity, electricity is somehow connected with sewer systems too. So if you don't have electricity, then it's like your sewer system is not really operating in a way that it should actually operate. Um, so no, I'll say to you,
No.
high gross national product or high and domestic product don't equate to sustainability or economic development and growth. No.
Okay, now I want to take you back to your country. We're talking about policy. So we just America was our first priority on the Constitution, and the split of executive branch and the government, all of that thing, and the original intent on the Constitution, going back to that, and how policy be made and who is affected from it and family and all of that thing. And we just came to Burkina Faso talking about how agriculture and the economic policy improve the standard of Burkina Faso, according to World Bank. But human rights also, the Human Rights Watch also get problem with that. So we're going to discuss that later. But now I want us to come down to our country, Liberia. Let us let us deal with ourselves. This is our last place we're going to stay.
Hold on 1 second, okay? Bishop, hold on 1 second, please,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. While we are with Dr. Gray, let us listen to this.
Sure, here's an original song celebrating heritage and hope. You can adapt the melody to Afrobeat, highlife, or traditional West African styles depending on your preference. From the Sahel to the green forest.
Bishop, I do apologize. I just
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. So we want to look at it. I want to where should I start from in reference to Liberia? I don't know. Let look at the current administration. The current administration. Because let me say this very bluntly. I haven't seen since I was born and been living in Liberia. From my understanding, from my observation, my research and my analysis that I came up with, in reference to the current administration, I haven't seen a genuine president who really have the heart, the mind for that country called Liberia. And this guy called Joseph Boakai. So now I want to say here, let me read something from the executive mansion was read in 2024, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions when it comes to the economy of Liberia. So Boakai has been president since January 2024. His administration is operating on the arrest agenda for inclusive development, which emphasizes agriculture, rural infrastructure, education, health, rule of law, employment, energy, and economic development. So my assessment is mixed. Liberia is showing some encouraging macroeconomic and policy improvement. So, but the evidence does not yet show that those gains are being fought equally or sufficiently ordinary by ordinary Liberians. So here, so the economy is improving, but is the average Liberian feeding it? The economy, we come back again to the economy, we come back to the ordinary Liberians. Are they really surviving from the improvement of the economy that is going on in Liberia right now? Dr. Gray, do you want to throw light on it again for the common people?
Okay. So when you look at the economic system, when you look at the individual system, okay, and even like the national economic system, or in any country, sometimes it is hard for economic development to trigger down easily. I want you to look at Liberia workforce. Uh, Liberia workforce, probably in terms of the government sector, probably have like couple, like tens of thousands of people, like on their government payroll, and sometimes it's hard for a country to expand only when it comes to public service, like meaning government service. Many countries expand when you have also like strong private sectors. Oh, sorry. This, I'm sorry, and I'm so sorry. My computer, something came to the screen. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm trying
you
to get it
good.
out. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, what's wrong with the screen? I'm so sorry. I don't know. I'm so. Oh God, I'm so sorry. So something came on my screen like unknown to me. So what I'm trying to say is like, I know the government is trying. They've been over 3 years now to say. Sometimes it's hard for economic development to trigger down. if you don't have strong private sector. And so that plays a key role. I think there are lots of things that the Burka administration could do to help. Um, I'm not going to expand on all that, but I'll just talk about just
Mm,
one
mm,
thing, like utilizing the diaspora. When you look at the remittances that, the money that we send through Western Union and money grant,
mm,
um, that alone is, hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm not talking about the one that we put in the barrel. I'm not talking about the one we put in the container or we give to our aunt and uncle and brother to take along. I'm just talking about the one that we sent through Western Union. And and I know the Burka government is trying in some way. It's just like, for example, people bless you, Bishop. You a bishop. You came from
mm,
Liberia. Probably you only came with high school education. And today you like a doctorate student. You have like so much um, educational resource, economic resource, relationships that you can capitalize on in helping your country. So there are lots of Liberians in your category that could probably give more to Liberia than the money that's sent to Western Union. But is the policy in the country really encouraging them to participate in the process? Can the government look a little deeper into it and not be too afraid or too intimidated of people in the diaspora? So it's like, how can God bless all your children that would probably rescue you and you finding no way to really engage them, to
mm.
help you, to harness your strength, to harness your capability? I will say this to you, and not on the bragging thing. For the last 50 years, almost every development that occurred in sub-Saharan Africa, one of the Pings took part in it. Was it either Donald Ping Sr. or Donald Ping Jr.? And I even saw South Africa, the whole of Africa, in many places in the world, like the Caribbean.
Mm.
But I can tell you in the last 20 years, every development I went to Liberia, I sat on that table. In the last 20 years, every development I went in sub-Saharan Africa, I played a part in it because I served as a senior congressional staff for a Congress member that brought in hundreds of millions of dollars for the development of Africa, particularly Liberia. I mentioned few things in my book. We play a very pivotal role in Liberia's development. So I'm not trying to like highlight something of myself. If I have relationships with key government officials in the United States, if I have relationship with some people in the public sector, in the non-for-profit sector, and I'm not saying I'm looking for a job. I have a job here. But just imagine if my talent was utilized. Do you know how far we can go? Do you know how many people like me that have similar resource and network that could be used to help our country? So what I'm trying to say is like the government is trying, and if you look at the remittances that we send, it makes a big part of our budget. If you extract the money that we send, maybe Liberia won't be able to cover most of the expenditures. It is because of the money that we send and some of the extracted resources money to get and some of the taxation money that they get or money from other donor agencies. But if you extract the money we send,
Mm-hmm.
probably the government might not even meet salary wages. I'm not exaggerating, but I think it's the truth. So,
Yeah, I'm with
so
you in that one.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. So to answer your question, sometimes it's hard. for things to trigger down. Uh, but some of us know how to make that happen. Like that, like I give an example of Newark, the city of Newark.
Mm.
The city of Newark budget and the Board of Education budget is bigger than the whole Liberia's budget. It's over the Liberia's and Sierra Leone and another country combined. I'm just saying something. A city, a city of Newark operate almost like a country in Africa. They have a fire service. They have a sanitation department. They have a public safety department. They have a court system. They have an economic system. So basically, what I'm actually trying to say to you is that we are so blessed. We are so endowed with talented children. Are we utilizing our children? So I'll just stop there. Um, but again, to answer your question, it's a little bit hard for things to trickle down. I'm not trying to say people are not experienced, but sometimes you can utilize people that are experienced to help you to make it trickle down. So that's what I want to. That's where I want to stop. I don't want to criticize the government. I know
Yeah,
they're trying.
I know
They're
they're
trying the
trying.
very best, and hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Also, Dr. Gray. Uh, this is where we are. We understand that as we talk about the remittance system, that we
Mhm.
all use the Western Union, MoneyGram, the same wave, and all of this stuff, and all of this stuff. So
Yeah.
you and I now, what can we do? What can we do to, to contribute to the development process? We can maybe do away with the government and come in as private entity or non-profit entity organization. So what really can we do to to put these little 1 cent 2 cent to bring it together to cause some national development? Just for, okay, let's
I,
take for an example. You got your organization, right, Dr. Gray? You got a
mhm,
non-profit organization, making some significant impact from wherever we are, okay, wherever you have that
mhm,
organization. So what really can we do to, let's leave the government out of this whole thing. Let us leave the government out because we
mhm,
understand we've been in this side too long and we know what is going on. uh
mhm,
Even we try to deal with some individual and all of this stuff, there are some stuff that serve as an impediment to what we can do in Liberia. And some will say, listen, you know why? I ain't going back to Liberia anymore. I ain't
yes.
even putting a jack in the ground anymore for anything because I don't trust anybody and all of these things. So, Dr. Gray, what you and I can do with the education and understanding the experience that God has given us in this area, what can we do to contribute to the development process in Liberia, to do away with the government, and we can do this not to even go through the government, not any or governmental entity that we can go through, so that we can really cause some serious national development for Liberia. What can we do? What are your suggestions?
I mean that. I mean, you stress two important things for us to take businesses there and maybe carry some real sustainable non-for-profit. Um,
Mm,
and I stated that would you try to engage the diaspora more? Like for example, when I work in the U.S. system, when I work for member of Congress, I sacrificed for my country. I promoted my country. I advocated for resources for my country. So it's like I'm asking other people too. It's like if
mm,
you have opportunity to help your country. You don't really have like like I can go on and start naming some of the policies
mm.
that we were instrumental in implementing in Liberia. Some are part of my book. Um, but what I'm trying to say is like Liberia is endowed. We're blessed with so many children. I mean, I'm asking us to come together and help. We don't have to be recognized. Like for example, you heard about the DV visa program, the
Mm-hmm.
diversity visa program.
Mm-hmm.
They was about to eradicate that whole program and replace it with merit-based visa. It was my boss, Donald Payne Jr., that saved that whole program. That program gave like 55,000 visas around the world. Only 2,000 of the visas come from Africa and Caribbean countries. And Liberia benefited from that. They were about to eradicate that. My boss saved that program, along with Senator Chuck Schumer and Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. Even this whole thing about Liberian on DED and TPS getting
Mm-hmm.
that green
Yeah.
card or changing their status is we are key architect behind that. There
Hey,
were
Dr. Gray.
thousands and thousands of, yeah, there were thousands and thousands of
Mm.
immigration cases that we handled. There were hundreds of Liberians we helped with job. There were hundreds of Africans and that were facing eviction issues, issue of mortgages and all that. So what I'm trying to say is that government is not enough to solve our problem.
Mm-mm.
We as people have to come together and do something. Like one of the things I do, I'm a scientist. I'm an educator. I'm an educator and also a public policy expert. My second book talks about sub-Saharan Africa, and I deal with scientific research. And that book educate people about how you can use education for economic and community development. And that will be my second book I'm going to put up. And my third book is based on compliance systems, which is also part of law and policy. How can we create strong law and policy institutions
Hmm.
that will create some degree of fairness? So, so like the gift that God gave me, I'm utilizing it. I'm working on some empirical and conceptual paper that will address some of the issues that you talk about. And most of the things are based on real scientific research. It's not something that I'm guessing. It's evidence-based paper. But it's not all about paper. How can we create mentoring program for our youth? All the blessing that God give us. I was lucky. I was groomed. I was coached by member of Congress and U.S. senators. So am I willing to help the young generation? Bishop, you run a big church. You inspire people spiritually. Do you know how much work you can do? We don't have to wait for government. We don't
Mm-mm.
have to create a political party either. We don't have to create a political party either. For those people that want to create a political party, there's nothing wrong with it. But are you really going to bring about change? Do you know what it takes to bring about change? Do you have the expertise? Do you have the relationships? So this is the kind of thing that we have to look at as Liberian to bring about sustainable change. Not only looking at government, but looking at ourselves. What are we doing? Are we only criticizing, or are we coming together? Or even if no one wants to join you, can you go individually? So that's a question we need to ask ourselves.
Hmm. All right, Dr. Gray. I want you to please use the comment section to put your book link, the link of your
Oh, okay.
book, the comment section, and put that there. Yeah, put that there for me so that we,
Okay.
we can share it on our
So,
platform. I will
oh,
share it on
thank
my
you so.
website.
Yeah, thank you. I will send you up that. But just to let the audience know that you can go on any major site like Amazon and just Google it and like Ingrid Spot. So there are
Okay.
multiple sources that you can get the book from. And I can guarantee you, if you read that book, there
I
will be
got
some
one here. Your
transformation.
sister brought one. I've been going through it. I've
Yeah,
been going
thank you.
through it.
Thank you.
I started on your testimony. What went on with you there? I
Thank
said,
you.
wow.
So
And
what's
then
that?
you
What's
went
so,
through. I started
so
the
what's your
first
feedback?
issue. But I ain't start writing my feedback yet in the empty the pages that you put there for feedback.
Okay.
I'm yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I mean, I really enjoy. I was going through I said, wow, when she want to work, it was all the weekend. I said, wow. So Dr. Gray really, really went through this too. Okay, I'm gonna complete this book. And
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much, Dr. Gray, one of the sons of the sword of Liberia. uh I want to use this open or medium, this live broadcast to invite you to Liberians United for National Development, which of course I am the founder, the CEO, the vision God has given me. And you know your sister, she's a prophetess. I'm not going to say nothing before we can leave. Oh,
Yeah, I want to say thanks. So, I mean, because I was just keeping the best for last because I have to
I
say
know.
something about her before we close. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in there. She listening. She
Yes,
watching.
I'll keep the best for
Oh,
last. So you can go ahead.
we every February, the second week in February, we always have our annual lock in, short in, like a dry fast. Like 3 days in the second week of February, we don't drink, we don't eat, we don't get out. We in there that do a short and stuff. So that lady walk up to me, when she gets ready to prophesy to me, she addressed me, not sweetheart, she addressed me by my title Bishop. This is what she said, or exact what she said, Bishop. Uh, I'm seeing the Lord giving you something. Well, that which is giving you, He's going to give you the blueprint. He's going to give you the blueprint for what He giving you. So I said to myself, I said, well, I already run a non-profit prayer organization. So what God is going to give me? You want to tell me God going to give me a new blueprint for the organization that I run? But it was not so. So we left that. So when we came home, Dr. Gray, in it was February, March, I orchestrated a 12 months of prayer. So from February to next year, February. So we pray every 12 midnight from 12 to 12:30. Every midnight we do that. So in one of the prayer time, and the Lord reminded me, He gave me the exact name, okay, for what my wife told me. So we did that, and the blueprint came, and everything was really reading, putting together and stuff. So Liberians United for National Development, and I mean, it's doing very much well. And one thing I tried to attack, and when I did my research within the Liberian community, such as our organization, our shortcoming is accountability. Accountability is our shortcoming. With all the organization we got here, Dr. Gray, our problem is accountability. So one of the blueprints that God placed in my mind is to create a cashless community for the Liberians United for National Development. So creating a cashless community. So we are capitalizing on the weakness of all the organizations in this country, in the diaspora, to build our strength. So we don't want to have anything to do with anybody down they're gonna give to us. Not me, not my wife, not anybody for that matter. So if Dr. Gray is giving $5 to me every month, I want Dr. Gray to see how many individuals have placed $5 in that account. If that $10 billion in that account, Dr. Gray will get access to see that. And Dr. Gray would know where that money going in terms of development. So that's how the organization has been structured. But I want to invite you to our induction ceremony on the 20th of next month. And then and
I
we will
mean,
talk off
I'll
air
be there.
more. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know you're gonna come. I know you're gonna support me because I'm gonna be inducted as a CEO by the grace of God. So
Congratulations.
yeah, we trying our best. As we said, we doing this. We don't want any government involvement into what we are doing. This is not a political party. I was even at the embassy in Washington D.C. this July 25th. I met the ambassador. We talk on one or two things, and I met the ambassador for the maritime affairs He came from UK. We sat down, we talked and put some other stuff together. So I am opening this invitation to you. I want you, Dr. Gray, to be part of LUNDI. I want you to be part of LUNDI to help us so we can get the organization to where it's supposed to be in terms of developing Liberia.
I mean, no problem.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I would help. Most especially in like an advisory role.
Thank you.
Yeah, I won't mind.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Because one time I was
yeah.
talking something, your wife said, but you know that Dr. Gray can be, my wife told me, but Dr. Gray can be a blessing. Don't you know that? You don't think so? I say, I know
Mm.
he can be a blessing. That man, they play that man right now, my dear. They're too busy right now, up and down from Jersey to DC and all of that thing. But we will save your invitation to for the program. So on this note, what your last saying for our audience before we can close the curtain on this program, Dr. Gray?
Yeah. Of course, of course. First of all, Bishop, I want to thank you, congratulate you for all your accomplishments and for being a man of God. I want to most especially thank your wife, Reverend Dr. Julian Williams. Uh, we went to school together. We
Yeah,
started
she
out
told
at
me
SS
SS
County
Country,
College.
SS Country
Yeah,
College. Wow,
yeah.
wow,
We used to sing. Yeah, we used to sing together. And
wow.
yes, and I've seen all the blessings that God have given her over the years.
Mm.
And she has been very steadfast in supporting me in everything that I've done. So I just want to say thank you, Reverend Dr. Julian Williams, for
Mm.
all your support over the years. And I will be at the program by God's help because I know God will keep me alive.
Yeah, he will
I will be
definitely.
there.
Mm.
Yeah. And what I'm trying to conclude, uh, in order for us to have good policy, we have to first of all create good laws because it's from laws that we have policy. And from whom much is given, much is expected. Bishop, you are a doctorate student. Thankfully, I have a doctor degree or PhD. Thankfully,
Mm.
but I remember what my mom told me. My mom passed away, and my mom came in my dream,
Hmm.
and she said, "Yeah," and she said to me, "Kofa, that's my name, my crew name, my African name." She
Mm.
said, "Kofa, PhD is only 3 letters." She said, "It doesn't mean anything unless you use it to make a difference in your life and a difference of people life around you."
Hmm.
You say if you can do those things, then PhD is nothing. If you can make your life better and make other people's life better, then why did you go and get a PhD? So that's stuck in my head. And that is why I want to utilize the knowledge I have to be able to maximize it to the greatest level.
Hmm.
Thankfully, I work in a policy position, but now I can create research based on primary research, not on secondary information,
Hmm.
but on primary
I
information.
know. I know. Your PhD student there. I know that.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to say, academic way. Or my mom tell me like, all these things. So what? What I mean, are you helping your country? Are you helping your community? If you're not helping them, then don't talk anything. So I just want to end here, and I want to say to all my librarians and all other people that listening to this program, I want you to know that greater days are ahead of you. No matter what you're going through, everything in life is temporary. If you're going
Hmm.
through a hardship, It's just temporary. Better days are coming. And even sometime when a rainy day comes, I mean, even when the sunshine comes, I want you to just keep a little space in your heart for disappointment. But that disappointment is temporary too, because life is like a up and down. Like the saying go in terms of peace is when you prepare for war. So when your sun is shining, save, invest, cut down unnecessary spending,
Hmm.
spend time with your family, do those things that would take your family forward, so that when the rainfall comes, you just dust it off. Because you know what wrong? You're getting back into the sunshine because you have prepared yourself.
Amen.
So I just want to end there. So remember, God is on your side. But remember too, are
Amen.
you on God's side? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've been admiring you when we met. I think we met at a funeral, and my wife introduced you to me. Said, "Oh, this is great." Michael. We went to school together, SS County. I said, "Wow!" So we came a long way. And then we went. I think another time we met at a gravesite, and she said, "Oh, do you know that he's doing his doctorate degree?" I said, "Wow, doctorate degree? You mean?" And from that, you became a great inspirational man. What she explained to me what you went through, and I said to myself, you know why I'm gonna join this doctoral cycle. I'm not,
Mhm.
I'm not, I'm not stopping there. And I've been admiring you for, me. I always told my wife that I don't like stupid people. I say right on the platform. If you are not smart, if you don't come around me. If when I'm saying that way, I'm telling I don't like because listen, I don't associate with people who ain't got vision. I don't associate with people who ain't got sense. Now, listen, when I'm saying this, my wife has a doctoral degree. You see, what you saying that when she met me, Dr. Gray, I didn't have an associate degree either. I dropped off from college. First thing she told me, she said, listen, you gotta go back. You can be with me, and then you not even have a piece of degree. You gotta know. She fought her, I went
Mhm.
back. I got a bachelor. She said, now you gotta go back. I went back. I got a master's in operation management, and I
Mhm.
graduated with distinction by the grace of God. And then she gave me the vision. She said, well, I saw you entering Liberty University, the exact word, Liberty University. But I was still took a semester in the university when I applied to Liberty University, and Liberty
Mhm.
accepted my undergraduate transcript. I never knew it was my undergraduate
Mhm.
transcript. They accepted me to enter for that
Mhm.
season. And after I entered the first semester, and then the requester before I could register the requester for the master's or transcript. And now, Dr. Gray, I'm telling you, I am in Liberty University, and I mean, it's going well. It's going well. I'm so grateful to
And it
God
will
that
go well, and it will
it
conclude
will.
well. And you're gonna be
Amen.
you're gonna be Dr. Williams soon.
Yeah, very soon. Very soon, very soon. So thank you
You're
so
gonna be Dr.
much.
Williams
Let me
soon.
let you know you one of my greatest inspirational. I love your spirit. I love your resilience. And man, I'm so happy for you because when we look in this country, the most educated immigrant in this country, they are the Nigerians. I'm gonna be very honest with you. The Nigerians that are the most educated immigrant in this country. So you and
Mhm.
I coming to the area, I mean, it's a blessed thing for us to put our country up there as well. All of these things we're
Yes.
doing, we are doing it for our country. What we can do, this is how
Yes.
God has given us, like the doctoral candidate I am now. I'm doing this for my own self that I will be able to help people from this organization standpoint. That to be able to craft policy and all of these things and that.
Amen.
But thank God so much that you
Amen.
my friend and you my friend and brother. I love your spirit. Thank you so much for accepting
Thank
our
you.
invitation tonight on the Global Prayer Network TV platform. God bless you
Thank you.
and have a wonderful and a beautiful evening. God bless you, Dr.
Thank you,
Gray.
sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Liberia, I love you.
We love Liberia. Good night.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
You're
sir. Thank you,
welcome.
Bishop.
You're welcome. Thank you.